morning, everyone. I've been reflecting on the Emmaus journey that those two disciples made and met Jesus. A journey that's all about friendship and fellowship, but also about food. Food and table fellowship has been part of every civilization in the history of the world. It's one of those things that binds communities together. Some of my earliest memories come from sitting down at the table with mom and dad and my siblings, not just on Sundays for Sunday roast, but every day of the week. We always ate a meal together at night. Often friends and aunts, uncles, cousins joined, and that was even better. It was great if Nan was there. But if not, there were 6 of us every day, sitting down together around the table and sharing food and talking and looking into one another's eyes, most of the time without any radio or TV. And it was a tradition that when I had my own family, I embraced too. We always sat together. Together with my 4 children, we had tea together every night. Myself and Joan, my ex-wife, would make a meal and we would share it every day. When the children were very small, we'd set the table the night before to make sure that when we got downstairs, when we woke in the morning, we could sit at the dinner table and have our breakfast together. I have to confess, quite a few times in those days, the TV was on or the radio was on or some music was playing. Family life works best when you share time together and live together and are bonded together. Maybe it's because I've got old, but one of the aspects of my life I've struggled most with is hearing and seeing that the people never sit and eat together anymore. Apart from Christmas Day and when they go out to the restaurant. It seems pretty common that people would, even when they're at home together, sit eating at different times, eating different things. And I'm pretty sure that leads to a fragmenting of life. Sharing meals and fellowship around a table is so important in any community because they bind us together, they glue us together. And maybe that's one of the things I'm missing most, we are missing most in these lockdown times. Whether it's going around the neighbours for a cup of tea and a chat, popping into a coffee morning, going up to Starbucks for a coffee, overpriced, but you see other people. Whether it's the pub for a pint or the restaurant for a meal or family gatherings, we're missing all that socialising, aren't we? No, we're less than within the church. God and social gatherings go together, naturally. I think it's pretty hard to be a Methodist and not eat biscuits and drink tea. Or coffee. It's the glue that holds our faith communities together, food and drink. It cements our relationships and our friendships. And so much of what we do is not about sitting in the pews. Most of the time when we're together during the week, it's in small groups and coffee mornings. Sitting together after worship, chatting about everything under the sun, from the weather and our families to the state of the nation to our health. I know for a fact that in many churches, and 1 or 2 in this circuit, the after-church coffee bit lasts longer than the worship bit. There's one particular church, you know who I'm talking about because I've mentioned this to you. I really, really, really miss that. Don't you? The laughter, the friendship, the easiness we have sitting with one another and enjoying life. I think Jesus knew how important sitting and eating together was, which is why that most important, iconic moment of remembrance we have was cited within a meal. I'm sure you remember that on the last time that Jesus sat down with his friends before he died, he ate a meal with them. A monumentous meal it turned out to be, full of significance and wonderful teaching. And later, of according to the traditions of the church, Jesus took bread. He gave thanks to God, then he broke it, gave it to his friends. And then he took wine and repeated the sequence and instituted what we call, depending on which bit of the church you come from, either the Eucharist or the Lord's Supper or Holy Communion. I think Jesus knew that his friends were going to struggle and find it hard to believe that he was still with them, that he was alive but not there anymore. And so he told them that every time they came together, they should do this simple, easy thing, something that could be done in any place and in any culture, something that could be done every time they met. God knew that gathering around a table meant looking into the eyes of the people that you were with. Gathering around a table is one of those things that we do, and we are literally all the same. No matter how much we're worth, whatever status we think we have in life, whether we're black or white, whatever our sexuality is, when we come to the table, we're all on the same step, all together. And we know we're not alone because we've walked up together, or we sat receiving together in a body of people. And so within the life of the church community, strengthened and built. And I really miss the Eucharist. I know it's not that integral to some people within the life of our churches, but for me it is. And I really miss it. One of the Bible readings, as I've said in the lectionary for this coming week, is that journey in Luke's Gospel to Emmaus. A walk that's so famous. Two friends walking and sharing their loss and their grief, their failed hopes and unrealized dreams. And they're walking with Jesus and don't recognize him until within the meal, as they eat together, they see him and they know him. It's all about the meal, the food, the breaking, the fellowship, the table. It's in the breaking of the bread, but it's not just the communion bread though, is it? It's in the cups of tea and the really nice biscuits you bring out when the guests come for house group at your house. It's in the church, in those teacups. Sometimes with the slightly stale biscuits that you get at churches because they were left over from last week. God's present in each of those little meals. And to be honest, every time we sit down for friendship and fellowship in church and we natter and chat and support one another and laugh and cry. Oh my God, I miss all of that. I miss all of that more than Holy Communion. And I think you do too. The good news is we will return from this. We will gather again, sharing food and friendship, tea and talk, coffee and chat. We will be back around the Lord's table for the Eucharist, for Holy Communion soon. And how good that will be. I have a feeling I won't be the only one with a tear in my eye when we do. But in the meantime, I want to challenge you today to know hope now in lockdown. I want you to take a simple glass of water or tea or coffee. For me today, it's a glass of water. And a piece of fruit or a biscuit or a sandwich. For me, just because it's the easiest thing and I've got it here with me, is a little biscuit. I want you to take two things. Something to eat, something to drink. And as you take your drink of tea or coffee or water, take a sip. And know that this too is from God, a connecting gift. Blessed are you, Lord God, King of the universe, for you bring forth refreshment in times of dryness. God is present in the here and the now with me and with you, with each of us in these lockdown days. As lonely and as low as we sometimes feel, God is with us. As surely as it was in that Emmaus meal. And take your biscuit or whatever snack it is that you've got. And as you do, I was always told not to talk with my mouth full, so I'm trying really hard to swallow. As you do, give thanks to God. Use that Jewish phrase, blessed are you, Lord God, King of the universe, for you created this, and you brought it forth from the earth. Blessed are you, Lord God, King of the universe, for you bring encouragement and sustenance through the food that we eat. Blessed are you, Lord God, King of the universe, for you bring forth joy, even in the most difficult times. It's not Holy Communion, it's not pretending to be. Perhaps at the moment it's much more important than that. Food and drink are part of our everyday life, and I want to encourage you to notice them a little bit more in the next day or two. To sense that community binding us back together again. I pray you'll draw strength every time you sit down, and even if you're eating just baked beans on toast with a cup of tea, God's there. God's with you. I hope you'll remember this, that the water is the refreshing of God's Spirit to our bodies and to our souls. God cooling our troubled hearts. The food we eat, God is saying, blessed are you, Lord God, King of the universe. I said this morning as my grace, for you have blessed me with poached eggs on toast. God's with us in this. And so I want to proclaim, even more than any of those other blessings, this one. Blessed are you, Lord God, King of the universe, for this virus will be defeated. Blessed are you, Lord God, King of the universe, for we shall be revived and reunited. Blessed are you, Lord God, King of the universe, for the meals we share, the coffee times we will enjoy, the community we shall be when we're beyond our own front doors. Blessed are you, Lord God, King of the universe, for the bread and the wine, the fruits of the earth that we will bless as we share communion together. Be encouraged this day. Please don't give up. Do stay safe. God bless you.